Hello guys, welcome back, hope you're well. So doing something a little bit different today. I'm actually incorporating two build orders into one video. Now they're both for Chinese and they're both a night rush, it's just that one involves deer and one doesn't. So both builds are time stamped on the video as well, so you can go to whichever one you want, but I'd certainly recommend watching both. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is the version that doesn't use deer. So this one's 28 plus 2 population build, so it's actually like the same villager numbers as a normal night rush would be, but because it's the Chinese, you're actually hitting the castle age, probably the equivalent of 26 population. So it's pretty good, So usual sort of Chinese start really, you sort of send all your villagers to the sheep, you get loom straight away, and then you've got to keep sort of force dropping food for the time being to get 50 food, and then you can start producing the villager. The next villager that comes out, or the first villager to come out, villager number 7, goes to make a house and then goes back over to sheep, and then the next 4 from the town centre will go over to wood. And again, all this time you've got to keep force dropping food. You'll get to a stage pretty much like we're at now, I think, where as soon as the villager comes out, you just need to quickly force drop some food and you should have enough to get the next villager. So that's just a quick little tip really, in terms of knowing how to judge when to force drop the food. So I'll speed it up a little bit like so. Okay, so there's that one, and the next villager to come out is going to go and lure the first boar. So we are going to make a house as well with this final wood villager. What we should be doing. Probably do it in a minute. There we go. So yeah, next villager to come out is going to lure the boar, and then your next 5 villagers are going to go to the berries, but your final one is going to make 2 houses before he goes over to the berries. So again, I'll speed that up. So you will need to keep force dropping food off a little bit with this. I mean, you do that anyway with when you've got boar, but you just perhaps have to do it a little bit more often than you would ordinarily. But as you can see, we've got quite good production of villagers coming now. So you're going to send one of those existing boar villagers over to get the second boar. So that final berry villagers come out, is making those 2 houses and then going over to berries. So we've got 5 on berries. And then the next villagers come out is going to go to the boar as well. It should be on 19 population once that one comes out. And then your next 6 villagers are going to go to wood. So first one's just going to go to the existing lumber camp. And then 5 more are going to go to a new lumber camp. So again, speed it up a little bit. Get a couple of farms down at this point, so I'll just leave you with 7 on boar and 2 on the farms. Come on. There we go, and we're going to start adding farms now a little bit. So then we've got final 3 villagers, they're going to go to gold, and then we should be okay to click up to the feudal age. Well, I've got more than enough food in at the moment, so it shouldn't be a problem at all. But yeah, just keep adding farms. We are going to get to a stage where we're going to have 9 farms. But you do want to make sure that you've still got enough wood in the bank to get what you need to be getting. So we are going to need to get a stable, a barracks, and then we're going to need to also get a stable and a blacksmith once we're in the feudal age. So quite a lot of wood investment. So it's a good job we've got 10 on wood at this point. So there you go. Probably be worth, I was going to say probably be worth getting a house, but you don't need to just yet. Just got to focus on getting the barracks down, which we will do soon. So once that final sheet's finished, we're just going to send them over to a straggler tree. Barracks is on its way. Like so. And then just keep trying to add those couple of farms. Again, just making sure we've got enough wood to be able to make the stable and the blacksmith. Right, so stable, blacksmith coming down. We've got 2 new villagers going over to gold, and we're going to just keep adding these farms in. You may find that you need to just garrison all your villagers there to drop off the food. when you're ready to click up. I'm just going to be a little bit short if I don't do that, so yeah, definitely worth doing that. So that villager from the blacksmith just gone back to the wood. These two are going to go back to wood as well. Oh no, one of them is going to make a farm. So it just leaves us back with 9 on wood at this point. So we do want to take 3 villages off of the berries and send them over to the gold. I was a little bit late in doing so, but you do want to do that. And we're going to get a double bit axe whilst we're on the way up. It's pretty good with Chinese because they do get discounted tax, which is great. Comes in really handy with this build order. So it wouldn't be quite as manageable if you didn't get that. So just taking a villager off wood, it's going to make a stable and a house, and then go over to make a farm. And then these final 2 villagers on the berries, they're going to make farms as well once they've finished that berry bush off. So again, I'll just speed it up. Let's get through this. So new villagers from this point onwards are just going to go to farms. And as soon as we get the cast stage, we're going to make some knights from those stables. I want to get 6 in total, just to start off with. We're going to look at getting the, well, I do get the gold mining upgrade here, just to help out a little bit, but it probably didn't need to. Probably would have been better to get a horse collar at this point instead of that. Yeah, we're just going to keep adding farms now. The good thing as well with the Chinese is they do get extra food on the farms, so it's not quite as much of a rush to get horse collar down. You can kind of get away with delaying it a little bit. Still not ideal, but you can get away with it a little bit more. We're just going to keep adding farms till we get to around between 18 and 20 farms. Once we've got the 6 knights, we're going to stop production of knights temporarily, because we're going to get bloodlines, and we're going to get at least the first set of armor techs. Do remember to keep adding houses, because you do not want to get housed. But as you can see, we're sort of on the way to the enemy now by 7 minutes with 6 knights, and the scout will be up there as well. And should have upgrades as well, which will be excellent. So yeah, just keep adding farms. So be a couple more to farms, and then eventually we will get to wheelbarrow as well. Probably a little way off before we get that, but as you can see, we've got the first armor upgrade coming in, and we will be able to get in the first attack upgrade as well. So yeah, probably didn't need to get gold mining at this point. Would have been better with horse collar. So then once you've got those upgrades, it's pretty much a case of start resuming the production of the knights. So that's it for this one. Let's have a look at the next build, which is involving pushing deer. It's actually done at 26 plus 2 population, so it's essentially 4 villages faster than a standard night rush that doesn't involve pushing deer, so really quick. Okay, so the second build order in this video is the one that involves deer pushing. Now it does only work specifically as it is on the screen with 4 deer. If you've only got 3 deer, you will need to add an extra villager later on onto wood, because you're going to need to get farms a little bit earlier. But it's really strong build order. You can generally get to the castle age by about 14 minutes 30 seconds, which is pretty good, and you can get 6 knights out pretty much straight away. So really good. So I've kind of skipped the start because it's pretty much the same, so it's all the same up until this point. So we're just sending the first villager over to the berries, but we are going to start adding deer into the mix very soon. So we're going to start pushing the deer shortly, but we're just at the point where we're adding 5 onto the berries there. So I'm just going to speed that up, and as you can see, deer are now coming in. Not the best deer pushing. Let's get in another house with that final berry villager. We're going to add 1 more onto the boar, or the sheep, or the deer, or whatever we got. It's actually going to go and lure the second deer. And then from this point onwards, we're going to send 4 more over to the lumber camp. And they are going to go over to the existing one, which is not obviously the most efficient, but we can't really afford to get a second lumber camp. So we're going to have 8 on 1, 9 if you've only got 3 deer. So this is where you'd add that extra villager. But yeah, as I say, you just won't have enough wood to do what you need to do. So, and then pretty much after that, let's say we just can keep pushing in the deer. Once we've got all the villagers we need onto the wood, we're going to send 3 over to the gold, and then we should be able to click up quite easily. So that's it. You can go and scout your enemy. So on the way up, we're going to make a barracks. And eventually, probably going to be towards the end of the feudal age, we're going to get 2 farms down as well. So I'll just speed that up, get through the castle feudal age research. So yeah, so those 2 villages there made a couple of farms, and we've also decided to send another one over there as well. You do want to get your farms down, I suppose. As long as you've got enough wood to get your stables and your blacksmith down, you can just keep adding farms. So we're just using wood villagers just to add those in. So stables and blacksmith are being made now. 2 new villages are going to go over to gold, and then we can keep adding farms whenever we've got 60 wood at this point. But those villagers, once the sheep are finished, they're just going to go over to the straggler trees, just get a little bit more wood income in. And then you may find that you just need to drop off the food. It's just garrison these villagers to drop the food off so you can click up. But we are on the way up now as well. So those villagers just going to go back to the wood, and we're just going to keep adding farms whenever we've got 60 wood, because we are going to want fairly decent food income coming in. We are going to send some villagers from the berries over to the gold very, very soon. But as you can see at the minute, just keep adding farms when you can. We're making another house there just to give us a little bit of a buffer when we get to the castle age and don't end up getting housed. And we are going to want to get a second stable down pretty soon, so not got enough wood at the minute. Double bit axe has just come in, but we should be able to get a second stable down pretty soon, hopefully. So we'll be using 2 villagers from the straggler trees there. They'll come down and make a second stable, like so. We may even want to add another house at some point, just to be safe. But for now, they just keep adding farms. As you can see, we did send 2 villagers from the berries over to the gold there. So we've just got 3 left on berries. And then once the berries are finished, we will be making another farm. And then the final 2 will go over to the gold as well, which will give it 9 on gold. These 2 builders, they're just going to make farms as well once they've finished what they're doing. There you go. Next farm coming down. Like so, and then once we hit the castle age, boom, we're going to make 6 knights from those stables. Then we're going to send those forward. As you can see, we've got another house coming in as well, just to kind of protect us a little bit from getting housed. Just adding one more farm from the berry villages, and then those 2 are going to go over there as well. And then in terms of new villagers, it's just a case of sending them to straggler trees and making farms whenever you can. Just speed it up a bit so we'll get all those knights out. So just on the final 2 knights, still got the 8 on wood, 7 on gold, but those 2 are going to go over there as well. And we just keep adding the farms. What you want to do is get to about 18 to 20 farms. Once you've got those 6 knights, get bloodlines, start looking at getting your blacksmith text as well. You probably want to just briefly pause the knight production just whilst you get those upgrades in and keep adding some food economy. Probably I'd say when you get to about 20 villages on farms, you should have a pretty good economy where you can just keep adding more knights, and perhaps look at getting wheelbarrow as well. I mean, at this point we're at 15 on farms, if I include that one that I didn't select. But I've added another knight there as well. As you can see, we've got the first armor upgrade coming in. We'll be looking at getting the attack upgrade in pretty soon, probably after that. And all the while we'll just keep adding villagers to farms. And we can, if you can afford it, just keep adding some more knights in. But at this point, you're just in at the enemy economy, doing some raiding. So they did actually leave my base at about 16 minutes, which is pretty good. So by the time your enemy is just got into the castle age, you'll probably have 6 knights on the way over to them, which is pretty good. And as you can see, we just keep adding villages. We've got more of the blacksmith upgrades coming in. You probably can get horse collar as well pretty soon, but as you can see, we're now ramping up production of the knights as well. So we're going to keep adding more and more knights. As I said, they do have upgrades on them now as well, which is pretty good. Add your scout into the mix just to cause a little bit of extra damage. As you can see, more knights coming out. So the good thing with Chinese builds, you can probably get away with delaying horse collar until castle age, just because they do get the extra food on the farms anyway. So it does really help in that respect. But that is it for this one, guys. So if you're looking to improve Age of Empires 2, learn build orders or things like that, then do consider subscribing, and do like the video if you enjoyed this one. See you on the next one.